In PracticeSet04, we are going to take a look at some basic functionalities about layers. Layers in Photoshop are very important because we can create special effects on different dimensions by adding graphics on different layers. So we keep them independent, but also then later can merge them together to create one image. So go ahead and open the fish PSD file, which is what we have here. And I want you to make sure that you can see this layers palette over to the side. If it's not being displayed to you, you can go back to the essentials layout here, and that will bring that up, and then you can double click on layers and pull that so it's a comfortable layout for you to work with on your screen. So you want to make sure that you can see that. Another way to get that layers palette is under the window pull down menu. You can choose layers and you'll see the layers palette up here as well. So now that you've got your layers palette, you can see that there's actually 8 layers to this Photoshop document. And you can actually move these layers around. It's very similar to like move to send to back, move to front, those types of commands if you've used those in like Microsoft Word where you're putting maybe a clip art on top of something else or something of that nature. If you haven't done that before, basically you'll see like this background color is more of the solid blue ocean, but all these fish and the bubbles are on top of it. But if I wanted the background to be at the very front, I could change its position in the layer palette just by dragging and dropping. But if I put that at the very top, the top layer, and it's not transparent, I can't see through it. So therefore, the opacity is set, I can tell here at 100%, so I can't see all of the other layers below that. But I can just drag and drop it. If I just drag it below these 2 layers, bubbles and liquefied bubbles, I can see that now it's on the bottom layer, and I have these 2 layers on top that are allowing me to see through, and so forth. So I can just rearrange those layers as I need to. So I'm going to put the background layer at the very bottom. The other thing I can do is I can take a look at these layers. I can click on them. The active layer will be highlighted in blue here. And if I wanted to make some of the layers visible and invisible, I can basically make them invisible by just poking out their eye. That's a little eye icon. And just when I click those off, I can see that I've got some bubbles here that's still visible. The rainbow fish are visible, the purple fish are visible, and the background because they still have the eyes. So if you're working with your Photoshop document, you can sometimes just turn those off to see what things would look like, to remove those distractions so you can work on a different part of the Photoshop document within that different layer. So they're easily to turn on and off. If you decide for sure you do not want that layer and you want to delete it, very easy to do. Just go ahead and choose the layer that you do not want and come down to the bottom of the palette where you can hit the trash can, and that will just delete that layer. When you say yes, that layer has been removed from your document. You can create new layers, and we'll be doing that in the future with this little new create new layer icon at the bottom right next to the trash can. And you can also lock layers. So if you want to make sure that nothing happens to those bubbles or to the placement of the purple fish, you can click on any layer and you can use this padlock command, which locks everything about that entire layer, so you can't accidentally move it or modify it when it is being locked. If you wanted to, you can also change the name. So instead of small bubbles, if I wanted to change that to tiny bubbles, I just double click on the name and I can change the layer name as well. So you've got that ability to rename layers, to move layers, to delete layers, and to add layers within your Photoshop document. So you'll be learning quite a bit more about layers, but for now, those are the basics. So play around with this document. It's got great layers in there. You can turn them on and off, move the fish around, and just kind of get more comfortable using that layers palette.